Hi everyone, I'm Ricardo Gonsalves and welcome to Small Business Secrets. Did you know that investment in renewable energy in Australia is rising steadily as we move away from traditional fossil fuels? Over the past decade, the share of electricity generated from renewable sources rose to almost 20%, and spending on small-scale generation, mainly rooftop solar electricity and heating, has also risen to around $3.5 billion. Australia's energy mix is predicted to keep changing as new hydro, wind and solar projects are completed. Next, we meet an entrepreneur who is on the cutting edge of a new technology generating electricity from ocean waves. It's clean, green and may benefit our Pacific Island neighbours. Australia is an island, so there's a lot of water around it, but how much of that is actually usable?
Surprisingly, a lot. Australia probably has the best, or very close to the best wave climate in the world. The whole southern part of Australia, from lower Western Australia right up to around where we are now, including Tasmania, is very, very conducive to this technology. From a distance, you wouldn't think it looks too much different to a ship, a small ship or large boat, but the unit that we're currently constructing down in Tasmania is 200 kilowatts, and we've developed a technology that converts the energy in ocean waves into electricity. And the way that the technology itself works is very much like an artificial blowhole. We create a cavern, an artificial sort of cave. The waves move into that cave, they rise and fall and displace the air, and that displaced air is what drives the turbine and it generates the power.
When and where are we likely to see the first installation?
Well, we're producing this project at King Island, which for those who aren't aware is sort of between Tasmania and the Australian mainland, and that unit should be operational somewhere around the end of the year.
So once installed, what kind of benefits will it bring to King Island?
Well, King Island is not on the main grid, so it has its own microgrid on the island that's administered by Hydro Tasmania, which is a world leader in the integration of renewables into small island grids. The renewables they currently use is mainly wind with some solar. By incorporating our technology into that microgrid, they will have the first power station in the world that operates on 3 different types of renewables. What our unit will be doing is filling in the gaps when the wind isn't blowing and when the sun isn't shining. So we'll be helping to supplement the renewable energy on the island and therefore reduce their requirement for diesel.
So there are other similar projects around the world. What makes yours so different?
Well, the big difference with our technology is the fact that there are no moving parts whatsoever in the water. That, I think, has been the fatal flaw for other technologies in the past that have been in very deep water, maybe 30 to 50 metres deep. Our technology is closer to shore, it's very easy to access, there's only a short distance for a cable to be run out so that it can transmit the power back to shore. There's nothing there to be hammered by the waves. The waves are, they're very powerful when you get to big storms, and our turbine, which is this moving part, is protected from the waves.
What kind of support have you received, whether that be from the government or private?
A lot of our funding has been through private investors, but we do also have, for this King Island project, we have a $4 million grant from the Australian Renewable Energy Agency, ARENA.
So you mentioned King Island. What about the Pacific Islands? What kind of benefits could it bring to those islands?
Throughout the Pacific, they primarily rely on diesel fuel for generating their electricity. And diesel's the most expensive way of generating electricity. So we are confident that we can develop projects in remote Pacific Islands that immediately can produce electricity cheaper than what they're doing now through their diesel, but obviously also without any of the pollution. 10 or 20% eventually, many years down the track, of the world's power may come from waves, and that's where we'll be naturally targeting. And big wave farms is an obvious way to go, and eventually that's, I guess, what we'll be seeing.